Right guys, welcome down to the Quest for the Open 2017 planning stage. For the last few days since Rick did regional qualifying and since we did the question and answer videos and kind of got your ideas for what we should be kind of focusing on next year, I've kind of sat down and made myself a list of some goals and some targets that I think I can possibly achieve over the next 12 months leading up to the next Open qualifying. From last year, I was happy with how the Quest for the Open was formatted, how it was designed, but there was more room for expansion there. There was more interesting things which we could do to not only improve our own game, but also give you guys more information and to make the whole kind of video process a little bit more engaging. Because certainly what I did throughout this year, I did my 2 Quest for the Open videos a week, the vlog style videos, which I will continue to do. And a lot of my coaching videos were inspired by things that I learned for myself, and then just general coaching videos as well. But a lot of inspiration and a lot of good stuff came out of the Quest for the Open video. So I'm the Quest for the Open process. So I'm very keen to try and enhance that even more, if that makes sense. So what I've done is I've listed down 30 things that I want to try and achieve from now until next June when the Open qualifying is yet again at Fairhaven. Now I've split them into 3 categories, so 10 kind of goals within 3 categories. One is just like a general category, so stuff I want to achieve. These are in some ways very, very kind of tangible, so once I do one of them I can tick it off the list. That's absolutely fine. Others are a little bit more general and we'll get into in a little bit, but the second kind of column is all about kind of practice, so what I'm going to be doing within my practice, the stuff that I'm going to be working on, how I'm going to be working on that. Again, some of these are quite loose, some of these I can just tick off very, very simply, but again, that will lead on to more things. But then lastly is the playing goals that I've got. Now, the playing goals are very, very structured in the sense that once one is achieved, it will be stats driven, so I can't get away from it, so to speak. I can't say, well, I kind of did it, yeah, it was okay, I'll tick it off the list. This is very much 100%. You do it or you don't do it. If you don't do it, it doesn't come off the list. So let's talk you through, shall we? What I'll do is I'll give you a rundown of kind of each one with a very brief summary of what I'm going to be doing, why I'm going to be doing it, and how it involves different videos. So in kind of like the general column, if you want to look at it like that, first of all, get healthy, get back playing. So get over my hand injury, also kind of work on my fitness at the same time. So I'm coming back in a way that I feel stronger than when I went away. So it's hard sometimes when you come back injured to get back into swing of things, but I'm determined not to let that affect me too much. I want to get back into it as soon as possible. That's self-explanatory, and that can be ticked off the list very easily. Second one, win 2 Pro Tour events. Now, these are generally going to be the PGA Lancashire events and the local PGA events that I'm going to be playing in. In the North region here of the PGA, some really, really good players. So it's a good benchmark to test myself against. And again, that is super simple. When I win one, I can tick one off the list. When I win 2, speaking very confidently, if I win 2, no, I'm going to stay confident. When I win 2, I can just tick those off the list. Really, really simple once more. Third on the list, compete in a Euro Pro event. Now, for you guys in the States, the Euro Pro Tour is not the Challenge Tour, it's the one below the Challenge Tour. So it's kind of like the Web.com Tour for you guys. So it's basically 2 tiers down from the top tours. And I don't want to 100% confirm it just yet, but it's very much penciled in the diary that I'm going to be playing in a Euro Pro event at the end of August down in Shropshire at Hawkston Park. Now, this will lead into other things as well. This will lead into other things that I'll speak of in a moment. But that's certainly one of the goals, and again, that can be ticked off the list. I want to do this because the Euro Pro Tour produces a lot of good players. So there's many, many full tour winners who have come off the Euro Pro first. And the standard of play in those events is usually very, very high. So it's going to be good to kind of test myself against some very, very good players. Next on the list is record 2 scores per month using the Hole 19 app. Now, it's an app I've just downloaded. I like it. I like the simplicity of it in many respects, but also it's quite a good social media platform just for golf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and upload a couple of rounds a month onto that. This one is very simply just because when I'm going to go around and play, I don't just want to go out and play for the sake of it. I don't just want to have 18 holes just trying to work on some things in my game. I need to score everything. I need people to be watching. So when I'm going out to play, I'm like, you know what, I need to focus more. I need to concentrate all the way around. So that's why I'm going to be doing that. Now, the next one is very much driven by what Rick saw at Open Qualifying Regional, is play in front of crowd. So what I want to try and do is before now and next June, play at least 3 times in front of largest crowds. Now, the Europro probably might be a good way to do that. However, it really might come at a time when I'm only just coming back from injury if it doesn't quite go to plan. So we'll have to see how that goes. But certainly between now and next year, I want to play 3 times in front of crowd. So it's not so much of a big shock when Open Qualifying comes around, because it was certainly something that Rick did struggle with this time around. Just the nerves and just it being such a different environment than any of us have experienced before. Either of us have experienced before. So yeah, that's definitely on the list for that. Next on the list is a little bit of a loose one, which can't really be ticked off, but I've got a fitness program in place that Chris Avery did from Lidman Golf Academy, who's a personal trainer down there. I got this last year and I didn't get it done throughout this last year. Now I can simply blame, and so many people do this, but I'm really not going to. I can just say, listen, I've been busy, I've not had time. It's true that I've been busy. It's true that this year is been crazy so far, and this next year is going to be crazy again. But it's all about time management, which is one thing which I really need to do, and I'll get onto that in a moment. And next up is play Fairhaven and St Anne's Old Links under par off the backs. Now, I play St Anne's Old Links under par quite a few times, but I've never played it off the backs, and there's a big difference. Now, the reason I'm including St Anne's Old Links is that's final qualifying stage for next year. So Fairhaven and St Anne's Old Links, they'll probably most likely be my 2 events that I play in Open Qualifying if I get through regionals. So I need to kind of say to myself, listen, you've played off the backs on these courses, you've shot on the par, you can do this. So that's going to be a very, very important one for me. So next I'm maintaining a practice diary. Now, I generally try and get up quite early now. It's getting easier. I'm kind of getting more into that routine. But what I want to do is on the Monday morning is sit down with my laptop and construct a diary for that week, because I know where I'm going to be, I know what I'm going to be doing, and plan my practice and my fitness stuff around it. Because there is absolutely no doubt that my most structured time of the week and the days where I am absolutely on it with my timings is my coaching days, because I have a structured diary. So what I want to do is try and bring that into my practice as well. This is something which will not come easy to me. I am very much a person that when something needs doing, when I see it needs doing, I'll do it. I'll do it there and then. That won't be an issue. I don't put that many things off. But what that sometimes leads me doing is doing one thing, then doing another, and just chasing around after these loose ends. So I need to try and get ahead of this. I need to try and plan a lot better. And that's what the practice diary will hopefully allow me to do. If you are interested, what I'm hopefully going to do, like I said, do it on Monday morning, and I can share that with you if you'd like. Now, these last 2, I mean, this one is very much, you can tick it off the list. I want a hole in one. How this will help me qualify for the Open, honestly, it won't. I can have a hole in one after an absolute freak shot. I can thin it, it can slam dunk, it can come off a tree and go in the hole. But what I want to try and do with this is I want to try and train myself to just attack pins a little bit more when they're available. I want to try and hone in on a target. And I've not had a hole in one, which I think is long overdue. So if I can get that off the list this year as well, I'll be delighted. And lastly, what I want to do in one of the pro events this year is use the Rory diary. Now, this year on the Masters, Rory kind of just posted something on social media. Was it Nike? It was one of the two anyway, but they posted on social media his diary, his training diary for the week of the Masters. Very, very eye-opening, very, very interesting what he goes through. And what I want to try and do is for an event, do that in the 5-7 days before the event. Might take a little bit of planning, but I want to see how my preparation differs from one of the best players in the world's preparation. it seems exhausting. But what I want to do is I want to test myself against these things. Like I said, this Quest for the Open this year is exploring new possibilities. It's pushing the boundaries of stuff that I've simply not done before. And it's going to be exciting to see. Now, let's get on to the practice goals, because this is interesting for me, but also this is where you guys will probably spark your interest a little bit more. So first up on the practice goals is to do the Spieth putting test once a month. Now, if you've not seen the video that I did, if you type into YouTube, how to become the world's best putter, I did a video all about Jordan Spieth's practice routine, where he hits 1,000 putts during a putting practice session. And there is absolutely no doubt that when I did that first time, my putting afterwards was probably the best it's ever been. And then it kind of slowly filtered away again, just because of time. I don't want to keep using that excuse, but I just didn't have time to do it properly again. So what I really want to do is I want to try and do that once a month again, like I did in that video, calculate all my scores, see if I'm improving, and try and push myself on. Again, it's just a matter of time management. That's probably going to be the biggest one, because that test takes loads of time out of my day. When I did it last time, I did 1,000 putts. But I honestly found by the end of 1,000 putts, it was almost pointless practice at the end. My mind was zoned out. I simply wasn't concentrating. So I'm only going to do over 500 putts and then basically 50% up the results. 50%, 100%, double the results to get my kind of percentages, which I think is a better way of doing it anyway. But I want to try and do that once a month, and that's still a good half a day out of my diary. So it's going to be a big commitment, but one which will improve my putting and loops into some playing kind of goals that I've got later on. So next up is wedge distance testing. One of the big things, one of the huge things that I've really noticed kind of over this year, working with really good players, kind of when I went to Spain, Gavin Green, stuff like that, the quality of their pitching and the quality of the top players' pitching is fantastic. Their control over their wedges is brilliant. It's one of the real big differences between good players and great players. The ability, when you get within that kind of 120 yard range, to nail your target 90% of the time. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be devising quite a few different wedge distance tests to actually help me achieve better performance with my wedges. Now the reason, you know what, no, I'll hold off to the end on this. Now next up is a flight scope / foresight combined test. Both the GC2 and the flight scope that we've got at the Living Golf Academy, they have combined tests on. So different targets, different kind of distances, and you've got to hit shots to them and you get a score at the end of it. Now I want to try and do those again once a month to try and see if I can improve my score each time. Dead simple, really good videos as well. Nail that one off the list. So next up is becoming a brilliant driver. Kind of seems like a loose term, but what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to practice very specifically on including a few movements within my driver swing, which I was doing during the Quest for 350. But when it was combined with some of the other stuff I was doing, I was just getting really wild. My plan is to try and get my swing speed with my driver up at around 120 miles an hour whilst remaining in control. I got up to, I think it was 128 when I was doing the Quest for 350 videos, which is great, but it was uncontrollable. I think I can make certain movements within my swing to get it up to 120 miles an hour, hit the ball a decent distance while remaining in control. It's going to take a lot of work, but using some principles I picked up from kind of things I found out in Rory's swing, it certainly helped. Achieving a 70 and 30% split is up next, and what I mean by that is 70% of my practice is going to be on short game, 30% of my practice is going to be on the long game. This loops back into my practice diary to make sure that I'm splitting my time adequately between the different sections of the game. This loops into other things I want to do with my practice. I want to try and make all my practice this year as competitive and to matter as much as possible. Now, what I'm going to do around this is I'm going to try and do a lot more live videos on Facebook, on Periscope, wherever it might be, to try and engage more people within the practice sessions. Because of that, what it will allow me to do is when I'm practicing, kind of be aware that people are watching. And it's not just me hitting shot to shot to shot. People will be watching, people will be judging my performance in practice. And that's what I want to do. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. The 18-hole scramble test. Now, the 18-hole scramble test is an interesting one that not many players do, but I think it's one that really, really does bring out the best in a pressurised situation in chipping. So what you do is you find a hole on a chipping green, you surround the green with 18 balls, dropping it, not placing it, dropping it around the green, leaving enough room between the edge of the green and your ball so you have to actually chip it up in the air. Then what you do is you chip the shot, put your club down, try and hole out with a putter. If you do that, that's 1. If you miss your next one, then you've got 1 out of 2. Hole your next one, that'd be nice, but that would be 2 out of 3, for example. Go around the 18 balls to see what score you get, and then try and improve it each week. The other type of scramble test that you can do is during a round, if you say hit a fairway, then hit a green, this is quite a cruel one. Take your ball off the green, throw it over your shoulder into the rough, and try and get up and down for a par. See what score you come out with at the end of the round. Now, these last 3 are very much focused around kind of the mental game. Now, the first one is course management. I'll tell you what, I'll read these kind of all 3. So, course management, mental toughness tests, and maintaining the zone, so getting out your own way. Now, these are important because however much I practice my technique, however much I do my short game, I also need to work on the mental side of my game. Now, course management is a little bit of a tricky one to define, but I'll tell you why this is important in a minute. Mental toughness tests, they can be done in a manner of ways, but what I'm going to try and do with that is something quite interesting. Actually get people kind of there for rounds, as I've mentioned, but to also say, talk during my backswing. Try and put me off in kind of subtle ways so I can really try and focus my brain. I think that'd be quite a good one to do. And then the last one, maintaining the zone and getting out of my own way. This is quite a rounded psychological approach, which I kind of found last year that I need to get back into swing of things, but I think I'll be able to do this quite quickly. Is actually understanding that when you're playing well, you don't need to try and play safe. When you're playing well, it's about getting out your own way and really hitting the targets more and more. Now, I'm going to round this up into a very simple kind of manner here. All these videos, I'm going to read them, not all again, but the putting test videos, the wedge distances, the combines, drawing the driver, becoming a Rory kind of player with 120 miles an hour swing speed, achieving the 73 split, 18-hole scramble test, all those things. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to build video series around these individual things. Going to engage you guys, it's going to engage me in the practice, and it's going to hopefully teach you guys a lot as well. So these are really going to help me form the instructional parts of my videos throughout the year. So such like course management, I could have a 5 video series out on the course talking through different styles of course management, what you should be looking out for. The scramble tests, they make great challenge videos. Excuse me, I'm talking for a long time. All these things will form a fantastic bedrock of coaching videos for this year. I'm really excited about this because this is something which when I did the playing videos, the on-course lesson series, you really like that. So what I'm going to try and do is do something similar and base a lot of coaching videos around these practice goals. Hope that makes sense. Hopefully you'll like it. Now, stats in comps. These goals are very dramatic delivery there. These are the last kind of 10 goals, but these are all to do with competition play. These are not for practice rounds, but they will really help get me in the zone and give me lots of different targets when I'm playing comps throughout the year. So what I'm going to do is just kind of get through these quite quick. They're very self-explanatory. Bogey-free round. So to play a comp round without having a bogey. Generally, that should get me on the par. And that also includes doubles and triples and all the rest of it. So I can't get around it like that. But that will show that the consistency of my game is up. It'll show that the practice I've been putting in is improving me and I can go around without a bogey. Next up, break the 65 barrier. My lowest score in a competition was 65. What I want to try and do is break that. I want to try and hit a 64 or lower, which would be great. Again, that's a super, super tough one. And maybe the bogey-free round and that kind of come in the same round. It doesn't matter as far as that's concerned. But that's a tough barrier to break. Around some of the courses that we play in Lancashire, there are courses you can do that though. There are real chances. I'm not sure what I'll do if I get to a very short course, because there are a couple of courses which I think the Lancs PGA play, which are about like a par 69 and stuff like that. So obviously it's going to be tougher on a par 72 to get under maybe, but I'll have a think about that. But I want to try and hit that 64. Next up, 5-hole birdie streak. What this kind of links into the practice kind of side of things, where getting out my own way when I'm in the zone. I generally shoot good scores when I have little bursts of good action. So 3 birdies in a row, or an eagle and a birdie. And then I back off a little bit and I play a little bit defensive. I'm trying to break out of that mindset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reward myself ticking off a goal if I manage to get 5 birdies in a row. Helps me attack, or 5 under for 5 holes, say. It will help me attack. It will help break me out of a position where I'm like, oh, you've done a good couple of holes there. Now just relax, get a couple of pars. I want to attack more. I want to free myself more. And this is a great way of doing it, a great goal to set. So next up, have 24 putts or less during an 18-hole competition round. This can sometimes be slightly misleading, because if you say miss absolutely every single green, if you have 24 putts, which is a fantastic amount of putts, you're obviously still going to be shooting over par. If I manage to hit every green in regulation and have 24 putts, that's a totally different story. But having 24 putts during a round is really just an absolute amazing putting round. It's an incredible putting round. You're almost guaranteed to pretty much win that competition if you play reasonably well, having 24 putts. So what I'm going to do is really try and get that in there. If I get something close to that, I will be amazed. It is such a tough thing to do, 24 putts in a round, when playing well. You can kind of do it, like I said, if you're scrambling very well, but that's a good goal to have, and I'm looking forward to trying to achieve that. I'm quite excited about the opportunity to try and achieve that as well. Might have to have a few hole outs from the fairway. Okay, these next two are kind of similar, but just kind of slightly different. 100% scrambling. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 100% scrambling goal, but I've got to miss 5 greens or more. If I have like a perfect round and only miss 1 green but then get up and down, I'll have achieved 100% scrambling, but really it's not 100%. So I need to miss 5 or more greens during a round and then get up and down 100% of the time. So the actual chance to do that in a competition, I may only get a few opportunities. So I need to kind of really pounce on that once it actually comes up. And the next is very similar, 100% of sand saves from around the green. And I've kind of lessened that to when I go in 3 or more bunkers during a round. Again, if I'm playing really well, hopefully I won't do this. But if I do, it will show me that I'm up and down from the bunkers really, really well yet again. These next two, also very similar, 80% or more fairways in regulation, 80% or more greens in regulation. If I do this, I'm going to get myself a chance to attack the greens more, if I hit the fairway more, and I'm going to have a chance for more birdie putts. These are really simple and really trackable within the stats as well. If I can do this over a long period of time as well, that would be incredible. I'll be really on form. These next two are, well, again, they're very much kind of easily trackable. Hole 2 shots with wedges. Now, if you see some of the best players in the world, their wedge play, they're dancing around the hole so many times. How many wedge shots do you see hold on the PGA Tour? Over a year in competitions, I want to try and hold 2 wedge shots. This will show me that my wedge practice is coming along very, very well. And it will show me that my short game is really improving. It'll also be a nice boost, hopefully. I think the last wedge shot I hold was on the second-hand club game that we had at Burr Hill, but before that I can't remember. So I need to try and up this part of my game. I need to try and hold more wedge shots, and to hold a couple throughout the year I don't think it's an unrealistic goal if the practice is as good as I think it should be. Last one, play a discipline round. Wow. This one I've kind of written on the board slightly differently, play an iron round. So what I'm going to try and do, and this might be oddly slightly to my detriment, but what it's going to help me try and do is improve the discipline that I have on a course. When I'm playing a course which is relatively short, and like I said, we do play a couple of these kind of around the Lancs area, I'm only going to use an iron off the tee for every single tee shot. An iron or hybrid, use a 4 hybrid off the tee. Oh, that's going to be tough. But what it will hopefully teach me is that I can get around a decent score without using driver, but also it will teach me the discipline to leave it in my bag, to only play with an iron or a hybrid. I think out of everything, that's going to be the toughest one to do, because I feel that I might almost be disabling a chance to actually win that competition. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to do it. Whew. So that's it. Those are my goals for the year. And all of these, including the kind of on course during the competition goals as well, they're all going to allow me to build videos around this whole project. I'm really excited about it. I've got to be honest, I'm really kind of excited now. It's all written down. Now it's there in front of me to go attack it and try and get these goals achieved. It'd be fantastic throughout the year just to be able to get up to that board and tick them off throughout the year. Each one of them, every one, just tick, 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 tick. It's going to be brilliant. And what I'm going to try and do is the video format to my channel, that won't change. So Monday is going to be a tip day. Tuesday is going to be Tech Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be a tip day again. Thursday is going to be a Quest for the Open vlog. So the vlog style of videos I've been doing just with the point and shoot camera, they're going to be carrying on. Friday, Finch Friday. Saturday, tip video. And then Sunday, another Quest for the Open vlog. I think doing it that way kind of gives you an insight into what I'm doing throughout the week. It gives you an insight into the drills and the games that I'm drawing up around these things. I think it's a really good balance I've managed to strike here. And I mean, I'll see how it goes. I might kind of get a quarter through the year and think this is unachievable. I need to kind of cancel some of these things off. I'll have to see. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm really excited to get going. Right. Let me know what you think. Long video that. God, it's like half an hour. I'm sorry for talking for so long, but that's what I'm going to be going at. That's what I'm going to be aiming at. And I need you guys to egg me along. I need you guys to say, you know, where's this practice diary? You know, why haven't you got these 2 wedge shots in the hole yet? Whatever it might be, keep reminding me of them. It'll keep driving me forward. Right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video, share it around. Follow me on all my social media platforms. This is going to be an epic year. And this doesn't include any of the trips and reviews and course vlogs and all the rest of it. It's going to be busy. I'm glad I'm getting up earlier. Right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.